today. And now for the moment we've all been waiting for, we'll bring on the keynote speakers. But before we do that, we would recommend you to be in a quiet, peaceful place wherein you can focus on the meeting. It can potentially change your life like it has for us in the past. The speakers, founders, Executive Diamond, Ankur and Taru Gupta. Ankur has a background in electrical engineering from IIT Delhi, and Taru is an MBA in HR.
Ankur was exposed to this business when he was on a work trip abroad, and he got interested in the field of wellness and preventive healthcare. Together with Taru, they have built a business which spans the globe, and they are helping people live better and healthier lives. And today they're going to be speaking to us in two segments. In the first segment, they're going to share their story with us, and then they come back again after their recognitions to help us understand and teach us the basics of the business.
Looking forward to hear from Taru and Ankur.
Hi everyone, it is so awesome to be here. Thank you for that fantastic introduction. And I must say, hello India, because what a platform, right? That we are able to reach the entire length and breadth of the country, north, south, east, west. I mean, we have friends sitting over here, I'm sure, who are doctors and lawyers and engineers and housewives and young and old and 24 and 64 and maybe entrepreneurs and maybe bureaucrats, everyone. And you know the funny thing? There is literally very little common between all of us. We're all very different, and we all think that the way I do things is different, which is true, but there is something which is common between us also. And that common thing is our passions, our will to succeed, our desire to make an impact in the world, to make this world a better place to live in. That is what unites us all together. Though we're not sure what works for this set of people will work for me, something that works for that set of people will work for me or not. But the world is coming together very quickly. Just a few years back, you could say that somebody who's 25 would have thought very differently, and the exposure for somebody who's 55 was very different. But that gap is reducing. Somebody who's in a metro was different. Somebody who's in a small town was different. When 5G will come, this gap will turn to almost zero. Dadaji is already on Facebook and sending posts, and he has already installed Instagram. Now that's a warning sign, right? So we all need to, we were thinking, what can we talk about today? How can we talk about something which would be relevant for everyone? And then we thought we should probably not talk about tactics. They can differ. We should probably talk about principles, something that bring us all together and that's common for all of us.
So hi guys, very, very happy to be talking to all of you. Very excited, but a little bit nervous as well, because this is a new style. This is a new way of doing things. It's not that we're talking for the first time. I think we've been talking to an audience for more than 20 years now. But every time we come up on stage or whatever, come up to talk to people, there are butterflies in the stomach. The butterflies are not there because we're nervous about speaking in front of so many people. They are because we care about, are we able to add value? I hope this meeting counts. I hope the 45 minutes that you're going to take out for today's session, it makes an impact to your business. So I have come very well prepared. I have come prepared with two things. I'm prepared with my notes because it gives me the flow and the confidence that, okay, I'm going to bring some meat to my talk. And number two, very, very important, you're all very good at visualizing things. So right now, I am imagining that we are standing in an auditorium. It's full. It's so many of you. And we can see our friends who always cheer for us sitting right in the front rows. Now that feels normal. That feels comfortable. And I think we will be able to do a good job.
None of us are really looking for change. None of us are wanting change. We like our stable lives as they are going, isn't it? We like our lives to be predictable. We like to know what will happen when we will get up, how will it be when we will sleep, but all that is changing around us. And it's not that we invite change into our lives. Change happens to us. The question is, what will we do when that happens? Will we run away? Will we win over it? Will we be victims or will we be victors of change? That's a big question we need to ask. And it's not today. I'm sure you've observed that. It's just been like this forever. It's just that the speed of change is increasing extremely, extremely fast. I was in school and must be 1984, 85. Maybe a lot of you were not born at that time. And TV came. And people were on All India Radio for years. They were established people. And I'm sure in a snap of finger, their careers changed. Because they were not ready for this huge change. And some people changed. They changed their style and became victors and adopted the new medium. I'm sure the same would have happened when 1996 I was in college and internet and email came. I was doubtful, should I open an email, because who will I send an email to? That was the condition. But Some people were probably still selling stamps and envelopes, and some people shifted it and opened internet cafes. When the mobile phones came in 2000, right? I started working. Before that, we were only on landline phones. I mean, we don't look like that old, but it's just experiences that we saw through in our lives. And some people were running STD PCOs. I remember Taru and I, for her also, for me also in college, we used to be making in these long queues, trying to get our turn to call our parents home. And all of a sudden, pop, vanished. Everybody had a mobile phone. Some people kept waiting in empty STD and PCO booths, hoping for business to come. And some other people converted them and started selling SIM cards and mobile phones and started maybe, creating more things and newer things. And this change is just constant over and over and over and over and over again, right? E-commerce came. Some people were trying to just open another shop. Some people were opening marketplaces for other people to put their products on it. Right now, change is happening around us. The ground is shifting below our feet. Just last month, one of the biggest AI tools, artificial intelligence tools, was launched, ChatGPT. You cannot imagine how many jobs are going to go away with that. But some people will adopt and figure out how to use this change to become victors. And that is what we want to be. In our business, the way of doing things is shifting, not because, there's some big conspiracy, because the world wants to see and experience things in a different way. So what we aim to do today in the next half an hour, 40 minutes is to be able to maybe share our viewpoint of how we are seeing this world right now. We work with people in different countries around the world in our business. We've been in business for over 20 years now. And we've got a great perspective of how to deal with shifting landscapes. And if we can share some of these trends with you, maybe you can adopt them for your business. Maybe you are also a little confused about how will you move to the next phase of business. We don't have to worry about that. We just have to understand what is happening. And then God opens the doors and takes us forward on the right path. If we are united with our mentors, if we have trust in ourselves, and if we keep our teams tight, we can navigate anything in the world. That is what I really believe in. So I think we'll talk about 5 or 6 key things today. And we have these 2 slots. We'll cover some of them in the first part and some of them in the second part when we come back. But one of the things that we are seeing, the first thing is people don't like to be sold to. People like to buy things. Now that sounds like, Ankur, it's the same thing, no? What's the difference? No. When somebody is trying to sell something to somebody, people don't like it. They like to go and buy something. How is it different? When you try to convince me to buy something, I am resisting it because I'm thinking you are doing something to me. Whereas when the decision is coming from inside me, then I like it. So that's how the world is working right now. Most of the times when somebody comes to a store, they have already done most of the research. They've already done all the searches and read all the documents. And now when they come and ask you a question, if your answers match their research, they trust you. If your answers don't match their research, they won't even trust you because they know you're trying to pull a fast one on them. So, with that change happening, do we realize that in our business also, somebody else might not be willing to or not liking that we are trying to sell them something? How about that? Right? When I go to a store today, I don't like the guy breathing down my neck trying to say, this is best and that is best. I tell him, hey, you know what? Give me some time. Let me take a look around. Let me read. Let me go around. If I need your help, I'll call you. Isn't that how we think? It applies to our business also. But how does it apply to our business?
So I'm going to share a recent story, okay? My mom is 71 years old. She is almost an older version of me. She's very active, very energetic, has very good stamina, perfect body shape, body size, perfect weight, very lively, very energetic. Okay, so she was visiting family. She's 71 years old. She was visiting family and there happened to be a kitty party for the young lady in that house. She had invited 8-10 friends over. So, these were all young moms, maybe in their early 30s. So my mom was clicking pictures with them. She got involved in the kitty party. She was clicking pictures with them. Right away, she posted them on Facebook. She added all of them as friends. And then she had cooked a meal in our cookware for all of them, 8-10 of them in 1.5 hours, right in front of those 10 girls. Okay. Very obviously, everybody was bowled over by her. They were meeting her for the first time. And then they started asking her, Auntie, my mother-in-law is your age, but she's nowhere close to you. My mom is younger than you, but she can barely walk. My so-and-so is struggling with so many conditions. My mother-in-law cannot even get out of bed. How come you are so energetic? What is your secret? Everybody wanted to know. Now, mind you, my mother is not a business builder. She is not an ABO, but she is somebody who believes in what has happened to her health over the years. So she told them a very honest reply. She said, last 20 years, I have been.
It applies to our business also. But how does it apply to our business?
So I'm going to share a recent story, okay? My mom is 71 years old. She is almost an older version of me. She's very active, very energetic, has very good stamina, perfect body shape, body size, perfect weight, very lively, very energetic. Okay, so she was visiting family. She's 71 years old. She was visiting family, and there happened to be a kitty party for the young lady in that house. She had invited 8-10 friends over. So, these were all young moms, maybe in their early 30s. So my mom was clicking pictures with them. She got involved in the kitty party. She was clicking pictures with them. Right away, she posted them on Facebook. She added all of them as friends. And then she had cooked a meal in our cookware for all of them, 8-10 of them, in 1.5 hours, right in front of those 10 girls. Okay? Very obviously, everybody was bowled over by her. They were meeting her for the first time. And then they started asking her, Auntie, you are my mother-in-law is your age, but she's nowhere close to you. My mom is younger than you, but she can barely walk. My so-and-so is struggling with so many conditions. My mother-in-law cannot even get out of bed. How come you are so energetic? What is your secret? Everybody wanted to know. Now, mind you, my mother is not a business builder. She is not an ABO, but she is somebody who believes in what has happened to her health over the years. So she told them a very honest reply. She said, last 20 years, I have been taking care of my health. Health does not happen automatically. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to spend money. When we were younger, so this is the story she's telling them. When we were younger, we ate good food. We had a lot of milk, curd, ghee, fruits, vegetables, everything. We were not worried about adulteration. We were playing outdoors. We were doing everything. Despite that, after 45, 50, at that age, we understood we needed something more. So you're all young, you're young moms. Take care of your health and don't believe that food is going to do everything. I have been eating Nutrilite for 20 plus years because my daughter introduced me to it. You can see me. My bones are not hollow. My body is not, that you shake it and it will shatter. It's not like that because it's a conscious effort. It's an investment of time, effort, thought, and money. So don't ignore your health. It's going to come. You have to work on it, because you're the pillars of the family. So she was just having a normal chat. Now, was she doing a hard sell? Absolutely no. She just told her story. It's very obvious what would have happened, right? So many people reached out after that because they were not sold anything, but they wanted to know what should they do about their health so that, they wanted something. They were not sold anything.
So it's not different, but it's different. It's about how we see things that is different. Now that's a trend. Maybe if you think about it, maybe if you think whether this behavior applies to you, is this what you're doing? Are you telling the right stories? Maybe it'll help you change something in your business, in the way you do things, in the way people perceive you. A second trend we are seeing. People don't want to know the features. They want to know the benefits. Now, it's all around us. See, my point is just this. If we don't like something, how can we expect that our clients and our customers are going to like it? Isn't it? Do unto others what you shall have done unto you. That's the golden rule, isn't it? Look at the phone. They're not saying nanochip, nanotechnology, and 23 megapixels. They're saying all that, okay, by the way. Latest silicon. They're saying all that on the side. But what is the key thing that they're talking about? They're putting a picture of this beautiful scenery or this girl or this flower, massive billboard, just that picture. It's obvious that if your phone can take a picture like that, it better have good technology inside it. You want the picture or you want the latest silicon inside? That's the question that we need to ask ourselves. They're no longer saying 2000cc turbocharged engine, computerized fuel injection, and I might not even understand that. They're talking more about, do you want to feel like a palace when you sit inside it? Do you want to be the alpha male out there? Do you want to rule the road? That's the advertisement for the car. And it speaks to me better than the technical specifications, isn't it? I mean, look at houses. They're not talking about just the 3.5 bedrooms and which tile and which plumbing and what wires will we use. Yes, those are the features. Yes, those are the specifications. But what they're talking about is, would you like to buy peace of mind? Would you like to buy a place where your kids can have the best friends around them? Benefits instead of features. It's a trend. The question we need to ask ourselves is, are we using it? Are we going with it or against it?
So let me give you an example which is totally directly relevant to our business, okay? I'll talk about the Queen cookware, okay? We've all tried this. We have loyal client families, we have good relationships with them. We go to a family and we tell them, the family is on some program with you. They're trying to work on their conditions. They're doing something with you, right? That's why they're your clients. So you tell them, you want to show them the cookware. This is case one. This is how you talk about it. You talk about all the features it has. Cookware is definitely the best product that is available in the market. Okay, it has high-grade steel, it has Optiton technology, it has Vitalock, you can retain all the nutrients, it can save time, it has low moisture cooking, you can do zero oil, you can do low oil, you can do so many things, it's very versatile, A, B, C, D, you covered everything. End of it, when you told them the price, there goes, it's pin drop silence, right? There's no conversation forward, right? So you did your best and you're wondering what happened. They trusted me, they trusted Nutralite, they really like every brand that they're using from our range. So what went wrong? Let me take you through another flow. It's the same client family. Obviously, we know our client families very well. So the lady, maybe she's working with you on some health parameters she's working to improve. You know that the husband has digestive disorders, maybe. She keeps telling you that her kids do not enjoy vegetables as much and they order a lot of junk food. You can see there are elderly parents in the house. You also know that the parents are on a restricted diet. They need zero oil. They need lighter food. They need more veggies in their diet. You know all this already about the client family, right? So now you tell them your story. So you tell them, why did you replace your cookware? Why did you say tata bye-bye to the aluminium in your kitchen, to the non-stick in your kitchen, to pressure cooking? How much consumption of oil has gone down in your kitchen ever you switched your cookware and your cooking methods, right? How are your kids enjoying the vegetables much more because they look nicer and they taste nicer? How come in your busy schedule, you are able to take care of choices of everybody in the family because you're cooking smart? How have some other benefits come just because you change the way you cook? Now, if you can relate the two in this flow, if you tell your client everything, because you actually told them a real story. When you told them the real story, what they are hearing is, okay, how does it fit in for so and so member of my family? You covered every member of the family. You showed them the value that it can bring for the lady, for the husband, for the kids, for the parents, for everybody, right? See, believe it. I mean, we all know it, right? There is nothing called expensive. It is a perceived value in our mind, right? If I see that something is worth my money, I'm going to spend on it. Now, did I create value because I could show them the benefits, the way it can transform or improve health of every single member of the family? So that is the difference between focusing on features versus benefits.
And I'll tell you the third trend exactly for the same example. People want to solve a problem. They are not bothered about the components for it. I'll give you a very simple example very quickly. One of the most difficult things in the world is to buy furniture. We went to an IKEA store a few days back. They opened one in Bangalore. And there were more tourists than buyers over there just to look at it because of the way they set everything up, right? It was easy to buy something, and if you instead of buying one thing, you'll end up buying 5 things because they were not trying to sell the napkin holder, they were not trying to sell the sofa, they were not trying to sell the painting, they were not trying to sell the flower. What they were selling was, if your house, if your room is 500 square feet, how can you have everything in it? How can you have the most clean and immaculate arrangement? How can you make it look most beautiful and meet all your needs? That's how they set it up. You would go and buy a solution. Look at a hospital. Somebody was telling me the other day, their father had to go through a heart surgery when they went to the hospital. It was not like, okay, you have to do this and this and this. No. It was like, okay, heart surgery, valve replacement, this is the package. Everything is included in it. Whatever it takes, we will make sure it happens, right? You don't have to make 20 decisions. You have to just make one decision. Do I want the solution or do I not want the solution? When we are talking to our clients, when we are talking to people out there, are we talking about features, pieces, price of each, or are we talking about what they need and how we can solve their problem?
Oh my God, I can so clearly remember, many years ago, this is exactly how we used to operate. If I had to speak to somebody about protein powder daily or whatever, I would go, this is what I would call going prepared. I would know exactly the vitamins, the minerals, the dosage, the extracts it came from, the amino acids, their description, their composition, every single thing. And I would make sure that I tell it to the client. You know what? It's not needed anymore. It's good to know because it gives you confidence, it gives you conviction. That's important. But that is not what sells it any longer, right? Today, if somebody is watching us, they see, oh, they look fit. They have a healthy lifestyle. They're very energetic. If people are watching us, they want to come to you and ask, you know what? You also have kids the same age, but by the time it's afternoon, I am so tired with my travel. I get so exhausted. My stress levels are so high. What do you do for your health, right? They are looking for an answer to a need, to a problem. A little later, we're going to come, it is not physically possible that we can only limit ourselves to people who are seeing us actually physically. We need to reach out to a larger audience. So a little later, we're going to come back and talk about that as well. But the point is this. If we can identify a need, people are looking for an answer to what they're going through. And if they see it in you, that okay, this seems to be a person I could go to and ask, that's where we'll find our clients.
And we'll continue after a short break again.
Segment. Congratulations, all the achievers. Well done. Looking forward to see you at bigger levels. And now for the teaching from our keynote speakers, Founders Executive Diamond, Ankur and Tarun.
Hi, and we are back. We were talking about the trends in the marketplace that we see. They seem like very simple, and you all agree with them. But if we don't apply them to our business, then there is no use. That is the key thing to understand here. The fourth thing that we are seeing around us right now, people don't trust authority any longer. There was a time when I would see a Shah Rukh Khan ad, maybe this person and that person, and I would just go and buy that maybe because he's buying it. But now I know that he's not using it. Chances are he's just talking about it because he's getting paid. I trust an Amazon review more than the advertisement because the Amazon review guy is like me. Because I know that he's a user and he liked it. That means he has no inherent interest in it. That is a big shift in the marketplace. The way things are done is changing around us. We were just watching this movie Unchai, and advertisement has got replaced with placement. I think there was a massive placement of Mercedes-Benz over there in that movie. Every time they're driving, the whole movie is about driving to the base camp in Mount Everest, and every time they show it, there was a long shot and there's a close-up of the car. From inside, from outside, they're sitting in the living room and the car is visible outside. They're sipping tea and keeping the cup on the bonnet of the car, directly and indirectly. The whole placement was, if you are successful and this age, you need to have this for sure. And this is the luxury thing to own. It's just how things are being projected and shown. I was seeing a suitcase ad a few days back. It's not about polycarbonate, what size, how many shirts, none of that. There's this girl who's rushing, leaving her career, leaving her job, going to Himachal in the middle of the mountains to make sure that she gives her vote because it was voting season in context. And one thing was there with her all the time, her suitcase. Everywhere you go, your friend is the suitcase. Now, just leaving an imprint on you. Are we thinking about how does it apply to our business? Are we thinking about how we can relate what we have with people like us or not is the big question.
So let me give you an example. Relatability is nothing new. You've all seen teams shaping up. When Ankur and I got started, we were 23 and 24 years old, newly married, no kids, 2 professionals, Ankur and techie, and I was in HR. What kind of people got attracted to us? People just like us. Same age group, singles, newly married couples, like we say, dings, double income, no kids. That is the kind of first team that we built, right? Fact, reason, relatability. If it is good for this couple, let's check it out, right? I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you have experiences like that, observing teams around you. We had a single mom come into our business, very, very sharp, very, very ambitious. A few years down the line, that's the kind of team she built around her, because so many women who wanted to do something, who wanted to be something, got attracted, they got influenced because they could relate, right? I'm sure you've seen it with so many leaders in your leaders that in the business, students, somebody a bureaucrat, somebody who started as a student, somebody who started as a successful business owner. We've all seen that. They attracted people like that, right? Now the same thing is happening even today. I'll give you different kind of examples of social media. We have people, these are not things that you may not be observing, but maybe our telling it will validate and you'll be a little more confident in doing it. A lot of people, they get traction from there when they are out there on social media. They get traction from their professional colleges, from their engineering colleges, or wherever they studied. So we have a veterinary doctor. All her success is coming from other veterinary doctors who are liking what she's posting and reaching out. The same thing for Ayurvedic doctors, the same thing for homeopaths. It's not limited to professionals. We're also seeing that, even if you belong to a small town in a state and you reach out to people like that, they relate. They talk back to you. In fact, relatability is something, it's such a pie that we can cut it in any way that we want. When mompreneurs reach out, it sends a message to other moms, professionals currently in jobs or professionals who've taken a sabbatical or chosen to be stay-home moms, right? Young people reaching out. Other young people, okay, what are they doing at this age? Let me check it out. So it could be relatability can come in very, very diverse ways. In fact, we've seen it with, you belong to a certain community, certain language, certain region, certain ethnicity. If you are out there, people will respond because they find a common ground, right? They find a reason to connect. They find common ground. And that's why when you are sending a message to a large audience, they are the ones who want to talk back to you.
Moral of the story is you have to be out there. And the moral of the story is you cannot try to reach out to everyone thinking everyone will reach out to you. The frequency at which you will vibrate is the frequency that you will attract. And that brings us to point number 5. Influence is something which looks like it's very slow process, but actually it's very, very fast. And I'll give you an example. One of my favorite authors is this guy called Seth Godin. He writes on marketing, he writes on contemporary mindset, and I think he's a genius. Now, right there, I advertised him, for example. I've been reading books by him, and he writes a daily blog. He's one of the guys who's been writing a daily blog for 3 years now, every single day. I thought the first time I read one of his books was a PDF download. There's another one which I got as a PDF download, and I read it. The third book, I actually bought it. The fourth book, I actually bought 5 copies and gifted 4 of them. And as I was reading the blog, one day he talked about one of the courses that he was bringing out. That could be nice. You will not believe it. I might have spent only 500 rupees or 1,000 or 2,000 rupees till then, but that course was $450 and I bought it. Influence. Do you think he worked on me and after I bought it, then he worked on the next one and then on the next one? And no, he was working in parallel on 1 million people out there. Guess what? How many would have got converted? Even if it is just 1%, that's a big number. That's how influence works. Influence looks like it is very slow, but it works at a 10x, 100x, and 1000x speed compared to how we will operate if we try to not use influence. And the best tool for it is social media.
You know, like Ankur said, it might look very slow, and but we have to see it from 2 perspectives, right? Let's say a few years ago, if I'll take an example of a personal transformation. Okay, you fix something in your health, or you live a very healthy lifestyle. People around you, your family, your relatives, your friends, people at workplace, people that you often hang out with. That's a limited set of audience. People who know your life up close, they can see that it's not just about what you eat, it's about how you think, about what you read, about, whether you do some physical workout or not, all things included. They understand that, okay, so-and-so person lives a very healthy life and the results are there to see because you're totally fit, right? So in the olden times, the only influence we could have built was around people who knew us, who were spending time, as if we were living in a glass house and they were living our life and they were getting inspired by us. That's a very limited set of people because nobody has a peek into our life that much, right? Now look at it from the angle of social media. You do the same transformation. You continue living the same healthy lifestyle that you're following, but you decide to go out on social with it. WhatsApp, Facebook, Insta, everywhere. Look at the influence you will build, right? Because it's so many people. And I already spoke about relatability, right? There is somebody out there in the audience who's going to relate to your story. What is important is, are you out there every day? Are you visible? And is there something you're genuinely passionate about? Because the story has to be authentic. If it is authentic, it will pull people towards you, right? So that is how it would work. Now, one more thing to understand, when we have clients who come, who actually saw our content on social media and that's how they reached out to us, when we ask them this question, when was the first time, after they become our clients, okay? When was the first time that you noticed me or my content? When did you make up your mind to reach out to me? What was holding you back? If we, at a certain point, we're comfortable and we can ask, the answer varies between 3 months to 6 months to 1 year and sometimes maybe even longer. Sometimes they're just observing you, but they haven't made up their mind to do something that you are doing, right? So what we need to understand is we are not drying one shirt at a time. It's parallel processing. It's so many people out there. If we find something that that we are passionate about, we are actually living, there would be no dearth of content, there would be no hesitation. Obviously, some barriers would be there initially. I mean, that's just a learning phase. But that is how influence works. It takes time, it takes repetition, it takes visibility.
See, it's not that we are changing the destination. It's not even that we are changing the road. It's only a question of whether you're going on a cycle where you can have only one person sitting at the back, or whether you're driving a Volvo bus with 45 people sitting on it. Speed is different and the multiplication is massively different. Let's just combine all these three things together, all these five things together. We don't have to sell. We have to talk about our story. We have to be on it again and again and again, even though we might think it's very silly, because people like us will like us. We don't have to impress everybody, and we have to be continuous at it. And then let's just talk about the sixth thing that I want to talk about here very quickly. One of the things that is already changing, and that is going to change even more in the time to come: undercutting and price wars. You have no idea what is coming to us, at us right now. A new thing called ONDC will come, Open Network Digital Commerce. When any website you go to, you'll be able to see the products listed on any website. The government of India will bring it out. It's a beautiful thing coming for customers, because customers will get the massive amount of choice, superb discounts and pricing. But for a business owner, maybe that might mean price wars, right? And I had somebody call me a few days back from Punjab, and this friend asked me, Ankur, how do I deal with this? What will I do? How can I save my business from this undercutting war? And it's not just we going through it, the whole world is going through it right now, literally. He used to run a dress store. He used to sell ready-made dresses, get them from Delhi and then sell them. I asked him a very simple question. If your store is so successful, and if others get to know where you are buying your material from, and they buy the same thing and bring it and start selling it at a lesser cost, will your business suffer or not? He said, absolutely, but I won't tell them where I'm buying from. I said, that's not a big deal in this day and era, right? They will find out. And then what will you do? He said, I'll have to reduce the price maybe a little more further. Now there's no end to that. Where does it hit the bottom? The trend that we need to understand is we don't need to work on reducing the price. Instead, how about working on increasing the value? I told him a very simple thing that he could probably do. I told him, why don't you get a really good designer, a really good person who can do fashion design, employ her with you. This person should be good, and you're paying her a good amount of money. Every time a client comes, don't focus on selling the dress. Introduce her to this stylist who actually spends time telling the customer, the client, what colors will suit on her, which cut will suit on her, what style will suit on her, what kind of designs she should go for with her personality, which kind of parties she goes to, who are her normal friends. Profile her and first create a solution for her. And after you've sold her on the solution, just show her 2 dresses which match that description. That's it. She has to pick one of them. You sell it at double the price, she's going to buy it, and she's going to come to you and only you again. Because now you are not selling the suit, you are selling looking beautiful and smarter than the rest of the people. We have to understand what is the commodity we are selling and what is the product that we are selling. And that's the only way we can win over this massively negative trend which is happening in the marketplace. So, we can talk about a lot of trends, but to our mind, these are some of the top things that we are seeing happening around us. The question is, you might ask us, Ankur, okay, all this is nice, it sounds very good, but how do I use it? What do I really do tomorrow? Tell me an exact game plan. Tell me 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll do that. Nobody can do that. We are all entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurship means we should just understand everything, absorb everything, give it some time to settle down, and if we just calm down, ideas will come out of us and we will be able to implement them for our business. Because we need to understand that it's not rocket science. It's just a question of understanding how we can be relevant for today's marketplace. If we can do that, we can become victors of change rather than victims of the change.
I'll just give you a small, maybe a little direction to think. For some of our people, if we can find something that we are good at, we are passionate about, and we figure out a way to tell a story around it, it could be a good starting point. It is about value creation, and value creation authentically will come from something that is a natural strength. I'll give you 4 or 5 examples. There's somebody who's very passionate about yoga. Now, whatever he or she does with her clients, or when she's out, he or she, the person is out on social, people trust her for the expertise she has on yoga. So they reach out to her for that, but ultimately everybody wants one person who can guide them on multiple things, right? When it comes to health especially. There's another person, she's very, very good. She's very creative with food, her food presentation, she has really good skills in food photography, and she cooks healthy. Now that's a niche she identified for herself. She's there, like I said a few minutes ago, every day, repeatedly, out there, visible, that is a given. Now, when people see her, they see her authentic in that area, they want to talk to her. When they want to talk to her, everything else opens up, right? There's somebody who's generally interested in cooking, not just innovative, generally, but she's out there. That's where she gets her traction. There's somebody who's very, very passionate about playing multiple sports. He figured out a way that, okay, this is my audience. This is the set of people. He figured out another niche for himself, right? Now, we can be very lost and think that I have no niche. That's not true. We might need a little bit of digging, a little bit of searching for somebody. It could be very, very different things. I just took examples which came, to the top of my head, but all of us, in fact, I think Ankur picked up this. We've seen young moms. They appeal to young moms. If they start writing, they start posting, they find their audience, because there's a phase of life that is special to people. Their struggles, their joys, their troubleshooting, their victories are similar. So that's not a permanent niche you will be in, but for some time that could work for you. In fact, Ankur, why don't you tell about somebody?
So maybe you were at the cruise or one of the meetings, and the company had invited Shashi Kumar, who's in Coimbatore, and he started the shift with just reading. He was passionate about reading. He said, okay, I'll run a book club every day. I will just start reading, and you can invite anybody who loves to learn and to grow. Step number 1 is influence. That influence can happen with dance, it can happen with playing, it can happen with reading, it can happen with singing, it can happen with me being a mom and everybody else who's a mom also has the same problems as me. Doesn't matter. Step number 1 is influence. When influence happens, then people build trust in me and they start asking me things other than what they got influenced with. And that's step number 2. I end up giving them a solution or a suggestion, or I end up selling them something. The step number 3 is helping them identify what they can do well and teach them that. And this is a natural cycle which can go on and on and on. Somebody in Silchar might figure it out differently. Somebody in Surat might figure it out differently, and somebody in Delhi might figure it out differently. That's okay. Doesn't matter. But the path of influence that seems very slow rolls into a much higher speed and much higher momentum over a period of time. The key thing is we need to, number 1, not give up, and number 2, stay humble. Not give up means if we just jam down and say, I can't do anything, I don't know what to do, then obviously nothing can happen. It's very easy to turn a moving truck. With one finger you can move it. But a truck which is stationary, you cannot move the steering wheel even with 2 hands or 2 people. It's so heavy. So if we are constantly out there meeting people, talking people, working with people, we will figure out how to use some of these trends, how to use some of these sentences, how to use some of these thoughts and apply them in our business. And the second thing, we need to stay humble, because ultimately I believe that the universe will show us the right way, which will work for us. I believe that it's extremely important to keep trusting in a mentor, because we can experiment. There's no problem with experimentation. It's great. Unless we experiment, we'll not figure out new things. But somebody who's got a much bigger business than us, a much bigger team than us, somebody who can mentor us, who can watch our back, they can figure out how this can be scaled up for everyone else. I personally believe that one is too small a number to achieve anything great in life. When you have unity, when you have a large team, it's actually easier to create something massive and something big. For that, we need to be united. So try things out, experiment, but always know that you can take this to a bigger team and you can help everybody else learn how they can actually implement it. The ways will be different. The goal is exactly the same. There is no difference over there. We have, people here who are from such diverse backgrounds. Each of us will figure out our own path and our own way. We have to stop worrying that can everybody do the same thing? No, everybody will reach the same place. Everybody has the same underlying current, but the style in which everybody will do it will be a little different. We talked about a lot of things today. Maybe it was a very dense talk actually, though it is only 45 minutes that you've heard us, but there was a lot of stuff between the lines. Maybe you'll have to go back and listen to our talk 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Maybe we'll one day come back and cover this in Hindi again so we can reach a wider audience. But what we want to tell you is, what we are talking about is from 100,000 man-hours of exposure and experience that we're seeing around us. When you're hearing it in 45 minutes, it might sound, I don't know how I can apply this, but just listen to it again. Just think about it, and a new idea will come from inside you. The most important thing is, we don't need to give up. We need to be out there making it happen. We need to be trying things over and over and over again, because one spark can burn a forest. One thought can change the world. And that is what is important to understand. See you on the beaches and mountaintops of the world, and all the best.
Bye, everyone.
Good morning, dear friends. You are all welcome in Morning Miracle and this listening together of Tuesday. मैं नरेंद्र बाजपेयी यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ इलाहाबाद के कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट यूनिट में प्रोफेसर हूँ. सबको वेलकम करता हूँ आज के इस लिसनिंग टुगेदर में. ठंडा है जरूर, लेकिन उतनी भी दम नहीं उसमें जो मौसम में सबसे ज्यादा शीतल होती है, तो उसके हिसाब से तो कमजोर ही है. फिर भी इतनी सुबह हम सब लोग यहाँ इकट्ठे, और देखिए जयनलाल जायसवाल जी अपने फार्म हाउस से निकलकर बाहर प्रकृति में टहलते हुए, उनके चेहरे पर पड़ती रोशनी से लगता है कि वहां तो धूप भी निकली है, वहां तो धूप भी निकली है. तो आज हम लोगों ने अंकुर और तरुण गुप्ता के जबरदस्त टॉक को सुना. हम लोगों के लगभग ये कहना चाहिए कि मोस्ट फेवरेट स्पीकर्स में से हैं. विषय को अच्छे ढंग से समझते हैं, अच्छे ढंग से प्रस्तुत करते हैं. और एक बड़ी जोरदार बात उन्होंने कही थी कि शुरुआत की किताबों की और फिर 5 कॉपीज खरीदी. शुरुआत होकर इस तरह से हम धीरे धीरे उस विजडम को डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करना शुरू करते हैं. ये बात बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट थी. केवल अपने लिए खरीद लेना, केवल अकेले अपने ही लिए उसका यूजर हो जाना इज नॉट सफिशिएंट. उसके लिए उससे आगे बढ़ना पड़ेगा. ये एक इम्पॉर्टेंट पॉइंट था. कुछ हमारे साथी हैंड रेज कर रहे हैं. वी हैव वन फॉर्मर आईपीएस ऑफिसर विद अस. ही वांट्स टू डिस्कस समथिंग. यू आर मोस्ट वेलकम, एस.सी. पांडे सर.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. I am S.C. Pandey, IPS from Lucknow. अंकुर तरु गुप्ता जो हैं, वेरी फैंटास्टिक लीडर्स, बहुत बढ़िया ढंग से हर चीज को एक्सप्लेन करते हैं. दे आर गुड सक्सेस एग्जांपल. अच्छे ढंग से उन्होंने समझाया है कि दिस बिजनेस इज अ क्रिएटिंग पुल मार्केटिंग, नॉट पुश मार्केटिंग. हाउ टू क्रिएट ए पुल मार्केटिंग. लोगों को सामान बेच बेच करके इसको बड़े बिजनेस के रूप में नहीं क्रिएट किया जा सकता. और हो सकता है छोटा मोटा हो जाए, ठीक है, लेकिन अगर हम लोगों से बात करके बार बार संपर्क करके उनको सामान दे के बेचेंगे तो इट विल बी ए सेलिंग प्रोसेस. और पुल मार्केटिंग क्या है? यू क्रिएट द नीड ऑफ द पीपल एंड पीपल विल कंटैक्ट यू एंड अप्रोच यू फॉर द प्रोडक्ट्स एंड देन इट इज डुप्लीकेटेड. दे गिव द एग्जांपल ऑफ देयर fitness and success of theirs and others, and then people become motivated and it creates their need and requirement and their demand. तो ब्यूटीफुल पार्ट बहुत बढ़िया ढंग से समझाया है, कैसे आप हर चीज को किस ढंग से वो करें, अपने आप को किस ढंग से प्रेजेंट करें और ऐसे आप एग्जाम्पल बने कि लोग आपको देख करके आपकी तरफ अट्रैक्ट हों और उनकी जरूरतों को आप पूरी करें. सो इट वॉज ए वंडरफुल सीडी. मॉडर्न टाइम के कॉन्सेप्ट में उन्होंने इसको समझाया, कैसे इसको आप सोशल मीडिया में किस तरह से इम्प्लीमेंट करके कैसे चीज़ों को आप वो कर सकते हैं, इम्प्लीमेंट करके और आगे बढ़ सकते हैं और बड़े बिजनेस को क्रिएट कर सकते हैं. वही लोग कर रहे हैं. हम लोगों को भी चेंज करना है और वैसे ही काम करना है. अभी मैंने क्या है, मैं पहले लोगों से कांटेक्ट करता था कि भाई बताओ तुम्हें सामान की ज़रूरत है, खरीदोगे नहीं खरीदोगे, तो वो लोग कहते थे हाँ, बिकॉज ऑफ इन्फ्लुएंस. उन्होंने कहा हाँ ठीक है, लेते हैं लेते रहते हैं. लेकिन फिर मैंने देखा धीरे धीरे वो लोग जो है कट ऑफ हो गए और बहुत बार फोन भी उठाने बंद कर दिए. फिर मैंने कहा लोगों से कि सिस्टम में आओ, मीटिंग में आओ, इसको समझो. लोगों से हमने वो करना बंद किया. लोगों के खुद फोन आते हैं और मैसेजेस भी आते हैं. कल भी एक मैसेज एक लेडी का आया कि हमको ये प्रोडक्ट्स चाहिए. तो फिर मैंने उनसे पूछा कि मतलब ये आपको इसमें किस साइज का चाहिए, डेली चाहिए, बड़ी चाहिए, छोटी चाहिए, क्या चाहिए. तो फिर वो अपना नीड जैसा बताएंगी तो उस हिसाब से उनकी नीड को पूरा कर देंगे, बता देंगे कैसे वो करेंगे. सो इट्स वॉज ए वंडरफुल सीडी. वी हैव टू मेक आवर सेल्व्स एंड क्रिएट एग्जाम्पल ऑफ सक्सेस to make people be attracted and create a pull marketing. Nice CD. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सर. और बिल्कुल सही आपने कहा. और जो आज हमारे स्पीकर थे उन्होंने एक बड़ी बढ़िया तरीके से यही वाली बात कही थी कि हम यहाँ किसी को इम्प्रेस करने के लिए नहीं है. और जो लोग हमें, हमारी चीज को, हमारे वातावरण को, हमको पसंद करते हैं, वो खुद आकर्षित होकर आएंगे. इसका मतलब बिल्कुल साफ है. जस्ट शो, जस्ट एक्सपोज योरसेल्फ एंड मूव अहेड. अपने आप लोग आएंगे जिन्हें आना है, जो उस लायक हैं, जो उस चीज को पसंद करते हैं. और अब हमारे बीच में मिस्टर जयनलाल जायसवाल साहब हैं, प्रतापगढ़ से. यू आर वेलकम.
थैंक यू सर. थैंक यू. माई सेल्फ जयनलाल जायसवाल, टीचिंग प्रोफेशन से हैं सर, और प्रतापगढ़ से बिलोंग करते हैं. और जो इस सीडी हमने अपने लिए सीख लिया कि वास्तव में पुश मार्केटिंग नहीं करना है, पुल मार्केटिंग करना है. वास्तव में सत्य बात है. एक लोग, अभी कल किसी पे बताने जाओ, पट्टी में एक बार एक आरसीएम का प्रोडक्ट यूज करते थे, तो कुछ लोग बताया हमारे फिटनेस को देख करके, हम भी डायबिटिक थे पहले, तुम्हारी कोई स्टोरी बताया था उनको, तो कहे नहीं, उनको डायबिटीज था, तो हमसे न्यूट्राइट का प्रोडक्ट लिए थे, तो उनको कुछ फर्क पड़ा. 1-1.5 महीने पहले दिया था. तो कल उनका फोन आया था शाम को, तो मैं कहीं मीटिंग में था, तो शाम फोन की कि सर आपसे मिलना था, जो आप प्रोडक्ट दिए थे हमको फिर से चाहिए. तो आज उनके पास जाएंगे पट्टी में, तो जो प्रोटीन पाउडर वगैरह सब कुछ दिए थे उनको ढंग से. 3 प्रोडक्ट दिए थे, प्रोटीन डेली ओमेगा दिए थे हमको, इसको यूज करिएगा, फिर बताइएगा आरसीएम अच्छा है कि हमारा अच्छा है. तो उनको अच्छा लगा, इसके लिए हमको बुला रहे हैं. तो आज फिर जाएंगे, उनको अच्छा सा ढंग से हेल्थ प्लान भी दिखाएंगे और उनको बॉडी मॉनिटर चेकअप भी करेंगे और प्रोडक्ट भी देंगे. तो ऐसा हेल्प करके अगर हमारा प्रोडक्ट रिटेल हो रहा है तो अच्छा लगता है. थैंक यू सर.
थैंक यू जयनलाल जी, थैंक यू. और एक क्वीन का एग्जाम्पल मैडम ने दिया था, और बाद में उस चीज को अंकुर भी डिस्कस कर रहे थे कि जो प्राइस है उसके बजाय क्या वैल्यू है उस प्रोडक्ट की या जिस चीज को हम पेश कर रहे हैं, वो चीज खोलकर सामने लानी है, वो कहना है। प्राइस पर तो डिस्कशन ही फिर नहीं रह जाता इफ यू हैव बीन एबल टू पुट द राइट वैल्यू बिफोर द पर्सन। तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात थी। और नाउ वी हैव वन personality from corporate sector. We invite Jyoti Ranjan sir here.
धन्यवाद डॉक्टर नवीन बाजपेयी सर। नमस्कार सभी को। मैं ज्योति रंजन सहाय, पुणे से, ह्यूमन रिसोर्स एंड बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट प्रोफेशनल एंड अ प्राउड एंड पैशनेट एंड बिजनेस ओनर। मैं भी वही बात करने वाला था, प्राइस, द कॉस्ट वर्सेस वैल्यू और द प्राइस वर्सेस वैल्यू। तो अगर हम इसको अपनी एबी वॉरियर्स टीम के अंदर में देखें और जिस तरीके से आलोक सर हम लोगों को हमेशा उस वैल्यू की तरफ, द लाइफ व्हाट आर वी गोइंग टू क्रिएट एंड द वैल्यू दैट वी आर गोइंग टू क्रिएट, जो अपनी पूरी टीम के अंदर में जो हम जो जीवन का जो मतलब बनेगा उसके ऊपर फोकस कर रहे हैं, तो डेफिनेट है कि द प्राइस इज वेरी स्मॉल एज कम्पेयर टू द वैल्यू जो हमको इसमें मिलता है, जिस तरीके का जीवन हमको मिलता है। टॉक में बहुत सारी चीजें थी। एक चीज थी जो कि मैंने लिया कि मेरे अंदर कुछ है जो कि उसको इन्फ्लुएंस करता है। पहले क्या होता था, जैसे स्कूल के समय की भी बात करें तो जो टॉपर्स होते थे उनको, उनके अंदर में हमेशा वो रहता था कि कॉम्पिटिटिव मेंटालिटी होती थी। और कॉम्पिटिटिव मेंटालिटी में हमको लगता था अरे ये तो फर्स्ट आता है, ये 8 घंटे स्कूल में रहता है, 6 घंटे स्कूल में रहता है, फिर जाकर के 4 घंटे या 6 घंटे पढ़ाई करता है। दैट यूज्ड टू बी ए कॉम्पिटिशन। यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है कि एम आई एबल टू क्रिएट एन इन्फ्लुएंस, क्या मैं प्रभाव पहुंचा पा रहा हूं कि हाँ। और बहुत सिंपल सी चीज है, हमारा अपना फिटनेस, हमारी अपनी हेल्थ और हमारा अपना मेंटल वेल्थ, जिसके ऊपर जो सबसे बड़ा एसेट होता है हमारा, कि अगर हम अपने किस तरीके की बातें हम कर रहे हैं, कौन सी चीज हम ये कर रहे हैं, वो बाय इटसेल्फ इज गोइंग टू इन्फ्लुएंस पीपल। क्योंकि पीपल डोंट वांट टू बाई, पीपल वांट टू चूज एंड बाई, दे डोंट वांट टू बी सोल्ड समथिंग। उनको कुछ बेचा जाए वो पसंद नहीं। और इस 2026 की शुरुआत बड़ी जबरदस्त हुई है। पिछले साल तक हर बीबीएस में मैं अकेला होता था। इस बार की बीबीएस में 4 शहरों में हमारी टीम, मैं और हमारी टीम के लोग 4 शहरों में बीबीएस अटेंड किए हैं। बहुत बहुत जबरदस्त एक्साइटमेंट है। और पुणे की बीबीएस में इस बार अनुज सिंह एंड प्रतिमा पायल सिंह मैम आए हुए थे एंड एक अलग ही टॉक थी उनकी। सो वी कैन सी द चेंज दैट इज हैपनिंग in the business and in the leadership, and that is a change which is very important for all of us. हम सबके लिए बहुत important है। So thank you so much, Dr. Naveen Bajpayee sir. Back to you.
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू, थैंक यू। और एक खूबसूरत बात जब वो ये कह रहे थे कि जो प्रोजेक्ट है उसमें वैल्यू ऐड करने की बात, प्राइस के बजाय, तो द सेम थिंग वी डू एंड हैव टू डू अबाउट द अपॉर्चुनिटी ऑल्सो। उसकी जितनी अच्छी वैल्यू हम ऐड कर सकेंगे उतना उसके बारे में इंसान सोच सकेगा। तो ये एक बड़ी खूबसूरत चीज थी आज के उनकी टॉक में। और नाउ वी हैव, हमारे यहाँ तो वैरायटी ऑफ पार्टनर्स हैं, एंड वन फार्मर, a person who is having farms and working in the field of agriculture, वो हमारे बीच में है। आई वेलकम मिस्टर धालीवाल।
जी नमस्कार, सत श्री अकाल सभी को। मेरा नाम शमशेर सिंह फ्रॉम काशीपुर, और पहले मैं आप सभी को बधाई देना चाहूँगा लोहड़ी की और मकर संक्रांति की। आप सभी को बहुत बहुत बधाई हो। और मैंने आफ्टर बीबीएस जो कमिटमेंट अपने मोहन सर जी और आलोक जी से किया था, वो ये था कि मैं रोज 10 लोगों से मिलूंगा। और कल उसका मैंने ऐसा प्रयास भी किया और 10 लोगों से मिला। उसका रिजल्ट ये निकल के आया, एक जगह डेमो मिला 10 के 10 को, एक जगह प्लान हुआ, 2 जगह प्रोडक्ट बिके, एप्साइटी बिका 5 लीटर, जिनसिंग बिका और ग्लिस्टर बिके। तो ये बिलीव इतना आ चुका है, इतना एक्साइटमेंट इतना हाई हो चुका है कि मतलब हम 10 लोगों से मिले। और आज सुबह मैंने एक कमिटमेंट और किया, अपने आप से किया कि रोज मैं एक किताब पढ़ूंगा, पैरेबल ऑफ पाइपलाइन किताब पढ़ी, और 10 पेज उसके रोज पढ़ने हैं। और वो भी 10 पेज मैंने कंप्लीट किया, 10 के 15 कंप्लीट हो गया मेरे को। तो अगर इन चीजों को हम अपने अंदर ले आए, कमिटमेंट अपने साथ करना है, तो एकदम बिजनेस तो हो ही जाना। बिजनेस की कोई दिक्कत नहीं, लोग चाह रहे हैं, आपको बुला रहे हैं, आप चाहते हैं, आप कॉल करके देखो उनको, और लोग कहते हैं कि आओ, और लोगों को चाहिए अब। और एप्साइटी तो ऐसा ब्रांड है, देखो मैं किताबें ढूंढ रहा था, ये बहुत पुरानी बुक मेरे को मिल गई, ये एप्सा की मिली मेरे को, देखो ढूंढते ढूंढते, और ये मैं लोगों को दिखा दिखा के और आगे जाके एप्सा बेचना पसंद करूँ। बैक टू होस्ट।
थैंक यू धालीवाल साहब, थैंक यू। और आज जब इस टॉक को सुन रहे थे तो एक बात ये समझ में आ रही थी कि जो गुडनेस है, जो इसकी यूटिलिटी है, जो सोल्यूशन है, चाहे वो अपॉर्चुनिटी की शक्ल में हो, चाहे वो प्रोडक्ट की शक्ल में हो, केवल यही एक रास्ता दे सकता है। तो फिर हम कौन हैं? वी आर सोल्यूशन मैन। हम लोग समाधान पुरुष हैं। और जब हम समाधान पर बात करेंगे, सामने वाले को समझेंगे, उसकी जरूरत समझेंगे और फिर उसके समाधान पर बात करेंगे, तो बात बनेगी। और जो अभी हम पीछे लगातार सुन रहे हैं कुछ लोगों को, तो उनके साथ जो कुछ भी बेहतर हो रहा है, किसी के लोग ज्यादा आ रहे हैं मीटिंग्स में, किसी का कोई सामान भी सेल हो रहा है, कोई ज्यादा कांटेक्ट कर रहा है, तो अच्छे एक्सपीरियंस हो रहे हैं, वो उसी समाधान की वजह से, समाधान प्रस्तुत करने की वजह से। बंद। तो ये जो अ, समाधान है, ये मूल बिंदु है इस हमारे बिजनेस का, हमारी इस अपॉर्चुनिटी का, और हमारे जो पार्टनरशिप्स हैं उसका। अब इसमें एक बड़ा अच्छा एग्जाम्पल उन्होंने दिया, और वो एग्जाम्पल था योग का। और हम अगर इस चीज का विश्लेषण करें तो योग कौन नहीं जानता कि लाजवाब चीज है, लेकिन सबसे सब कोई तो सीखना पसंद नहीं करेगा। यानी जिस पे ट्रस्ट होगा, जिस पे भरोसा होगा, जिसका एक्सपर्टीज महसूस होगा, उससे लोग सीखेंगे और उसका फायदा उठाएंगे, नहीं तो नहीं लेंगे। हूबहू यही चीज, बिल्कुल उसी टक्कर की हाइट, क्वालिटी, पॉसिबिलिटी, रिजल्ट्स, रिवॉर्ड्स हमारे एमवे बिजनेस में है। कौन उसको पेश कर रहा है? क्या हम वाकई सोल्यूशन दे पा रहे हैं? क्या सामने वाले व्यक्ति की जरूरत समझकर उसके लिए उसकी बात कर पा रहे हैं? ये चीज आज इस टॉक का बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट फीचर था जो मुझे महसूस हुआ। और अब हम चलते हैं हमारे इस टीम के कैप्टन और इस लिसनिंग टुगेदर को रन करने वाली मेन पर्सनालिटी, सो हमारे डॉक्टर नलिन मिश्रा साहब, और फाउंडर एमरल्ड।
थैंक यू नरेंद्र सर। सबको नमस्कार, गुड मॉर्निंग। मैं पेशे से सर्जन हूँ, प्रयागराज से हूँ। आज की इस टॉक को चलाने का मकसद सिर्फ ये है कि जो ढेर सारा कंफ्यूजन चल रहा है कि एमवे बिजनेस पहले जैसे किया जाए कि नए तरीके से किया जाए, नए तरीका करें तो कैसे सब लोग कर ले, उसकी एक बहुत अच्छी सीख इस टॉक में है। पर अनफॉर्चुनेटली 48 मिनट की टॉक थी, तो हम लोग ने सोचा कि बस को थोड़ा समय कम करें, इसे थोड़ी स्पीड से चलानी पड़ी। बाद में वैसे नरेंद्र सर ने शायद स्पीड ठीक कर दी थी उसकी। तो जो शुरू का पोर्शन था वो हमने 1.25 पे चलाया। एक तो इंग्लिश, ऊपर से उसकी स्पीड बढ़ा दी। तो मुझे पता है बहुत सारे लोगों ने बहुत सी चीज़ें मिस की होंगी, लेकिन अच्छी बात क्या है कि यूट्यूब पर ही अवेलेबल है, और उसको आप दोबारा सुनिएगा और स्पीड को घटा दीजिएगा, 0.75 करके सुनिएगा, पहला वाला पार्ट। और इसमें जो मैसेज है वो समझने की जरूरत है कि दुनिया बदल रही है, मार्केट बदल रही है, सारे बिजनेसेस संघर्ष कर रहे हैं, लेकिन हमारा बिजनेस एक इस तरह का बिजनेस है क्योंकि ये शुरू से ही कम्युनिटी बेस्ड बिजनेस है। कुछ चीजें हैं जो हमें ठीक करनी है, जैसे उन्होंने कहा ना कि डेस्टिनेशन भी वही है, रोड भी वही है। उस रोड पर पहले डेस्टिनेशन में जाने के लिए हम बाइसिकल से जाते थे, एक व्यक्ति को पीछे बिठा कर। अभी वो बाइसिकल को आप चेंज कर सकते हो एक बस में जिसमें 45-50 लोग बैठे, और आप बहुत स्पीड से आगे बढ़ सकते हैं। पर कुछ चीजें समझने की हैं। समझने की चीज ये है कि इन्फ्लुएंस क्या होता है। हर व्यक्ति का अपना एक इन्फ्लुएंस का दायरा है। हम में से जितने भी लोग हैं, चाहे वो नरेंद्र वाजपेयी सर हो, चाहे सी पांडे जी हो, ज्योतिरंजन जी हो, एनी एक सिंपल से सिंपल व्यक्ति का भी एक इन्फ्लुएंस का दायरा है। उस दायरे को किस तरह से आप बढ़ा सकते हैं, पहले तो ये चीज समझने की है। सोशल मीडिया का इस्तेमाल करके, सोशल मीडिया का इस्तेमाल करना ही पड़ेगा, और हर किसी के पास अगर अपना इंस्टाग्राम में कोई बायो बनाने का और एक बहुत इंप्रेसिव सी वो चीज बनाने का मान लो कैपेसिटी नहीं है, तो आप व्हाट्सएप यूज कर सकते हैं। व्हाट्सएप पे जो एक स्टेटस होता है, उसको कम से कम आपकी फोन बुक के ढेर सारे लोग देखते हैं। उन्होंने ये भी कहा कि इन सब चीजों को समझ के आपको अपना एक तरीका निकालना है कि इस नए समय में हम किस ढंग से अपने बिजनेस को आगे बढ़ा सकते हैं। और ये भी नहीं है कि कोई एक तरीका सबके लिए काम करेगा। यू हैव टू फाइंड आउट योर वे, बट कुछ चीजों को समझना होगा। जैसे उन्होंने एक वो इन्फ्लुएंसर की बात बताई कि कोई एक है, वो कुछ लिखता है, ब्लॉग रोज लिखता है, उसको उन्होंने पढ़ा, राइट्स अबाउट बुक्स। तो पढ़ने के बाद एक दिन उन्होंने एक बुक पीडीएफ डाउनलोड कर लिया, दूसरे दिन फिर 2 पीडीएफ डाउनलोड कर लिया, फिर तीसरे दिन उन्होंने देखा कि बुक जो है वो सेल पर है, तो एक किताब खरीदी। फिर उसके बाद उन्होंने 5 किताबें खरीदी, 5 में से 4 उन्होंने किसी को दे दिया। फिर उसके बाद उसी जो ब्लॉगर है या जिसका वो जो भी व्यक्ति था, उसने कोर्स स्टार्ट किया। अब आप सोचो, 200-250 रुपए की बुक खरीद ली, 5 बुक खरीद ली, वो ठीक है, लेकिन उसने कोर्स एक स्टार्ट किया और उस कोर्स की फीस थी $250, और इन्होंने वो कोर्स भी ज्वाइन कर लिया। तो उन्होंने कहा कि उस व्यक्ति ने क्या मुझे इन्फ्लुएंस किया क्या अकेले? ही वॉज वर्किंग ऑन लैक्स ऑफ पीपल, लाखों लोगों के ऊपर काम कर रहा था। उसकी चीजें अच्छी लगी तो उनमें से कुछ लोगों ने उसकी जो भी चीज थी उसको लेने का निर्णय लिया। अब अगर उसकी एक परसेंटेज 1% भी हो, तो आप देखो कितने सारे लोग उसके साथ जुड़ गए, जबकि उसे जानते भी नहीं थे। तो यहां पर क्या है कि कुछ ऐसे लोग जो अपनी कोई भी उनकी जो अ, उनका जो पैशन है, जो उनका लाइफ का प्रिंसिपल स्टेटमेंट है, उसको लेकर अगर सोशल मीडिया पर अपनी प्रेजेंस बना सकते हैं तो बहुत अच्छा है। लेकिन जब हम सोशल मीडिया पर जाते हैं तो हम क्या करते हैं, सीधे प्रोडक्ट की बात करने लगते हैं, हम सीधे एमवे की बात करने लगते हैं, जो कि काम नहीं करेगी। इन्फ्लुएंस का मतलब ये है कि यू हैव टू टॉक अबाउट समथिंग एल्स सो दैट पीपल गेट अट्रैक्टेड टुवर्ड्स यू, और फिर उसके बाद वो आपसे वो चीजें भी पूछते हैं जिनके बारे में आप बात ही नहीं कर रहे। सबसे अचंभे वाली बात यह है कि आपने एक अपनी प्रेजेंस बनाई, आप यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट समथिंग, बट वो व्यक्ति इतना इन्फ्लुएंस हो जाता है कि आपसे लाइफ के बारे में भी और चीजें भी पूछने लगता है। और आप ये देखोगे तो ये हमारी एमवे बिजनेस में भी है। जो हमारा मेंटर होता है, हम उससे केवल बिजनेस की बातें नहीं पूछते, हम उससे और भी तमाम सारी चीजें पूछते हैं। तो समय ऐसा है कि हम इन सब चीजों को मल्टीप्लाई कर सकते हैं बड़ी खूबसूरती के साथ। और प्रोडक्ट्स बेचने की तो जैसे एससी पांडे जी ने कहा और भी लोगों ने कहा कि भाई वो वाला अब नहीं चलेगा कि मेरे पास ये सामान है, इसके अंदर इतने 13 विटामिन 11 मिनरल हैं। वो तुरंत कहेगा ये तो बहुत महंगी है। लेकिन जब आप उसको ये बताओगे कि इस डेली को खाने से मेरा स्वास्थ्य ऐसा है, मेरे परिवार का स्वास्थ्य ऐसा है, और वो उसको दिख भी रहा हो, तो फिर वो खुद आपसे पूछेगा कि भाई आप लोग क्या करते हो, कितने हेल्दी हो। और आप देखेंगे तो आप में से बहुत से लोगों के साथ ये हो रहा होगा कि लोग जानते हैं कि आप एमवे में हैं, लोग जानते हैं कि एमवे की वजह से आपकी हेल्थ अच्छी है, आपकी लाइफस्टाइल इंप्रूव हुई है, तो लोग आपसे पूछते हैं। कहने का मतलब ये है कि इस टॉक को कई बार सुनना है, और जैसे चेंज होता है ना, चेंज को आप अडॉप्ट करते हो तो आप ग्रो करते हो, चेंज को आप रेजिस्ट करते हैं तो आप अपनी ग्रोथ को रोकते हैं। तो हम सबको इन चीजों को समझने की जरूरत है। और सबसे अच्छी बात क्या है, बेस्ट थिंग अबाउट टीम एबी वॉरियर्स, कि हम इस काम को 3 साल पहले से कर रहे हैं। आप देखिए, अब आपको सिर्फ एक चीज करने की जरूरत है। किसी भी जिसने भी इंटरेस्ट शो किया कि मैं आपका बिजनेस ज्वाइन करना चाहता हूं, उनको आपको कहना है कि भाई देखो ठीक है, आप ज्वाइन करना, पहले समझ लो कि काम कैसे होता है। और आलोक जी इसीलिए बार बार कहते हैं कि जो मॉर्निंग मिरेकल है यही सिस्टम है। आप अगर लोगों को लाते हैं सुबह के सेशन में कि आके देखो हमारी टीम में कैसे कैसे लोग हैं, तो अपने आप आपका इन्फ्लुएंस कई गुना बढ़ जाता है। जो ज्योति रंजन जी की काबिलियत है, एससी पांडे जी की काबिलियत है, नरेंद्र वाजपेयी जी की जो काबिलियत है, आशा विष्णु जी का जो फिटनेस के ऊपर काम है, इन सब का बेनिफिट आपको मिल जाता है बिना वो हुए। यू कैन शो देम कि देखो हमारी टीम के अंदर ऐसे ऐसे लोग हैं, और फिर जब लोग देखते हैं इस चीज को, तो आपका जो इन्फ्लुएंस का सर्कल है वो अपने आप बढ़ जाता है। तो जरूरत इस बात की है कि हम अपने ऊपर काम करें और हम ऐसे बने कि हम लोगों को पुल कर सकें, लोगों को अट्रैक्ट कर सकें। और अगर हमें ऐसा लगता है कि हमको अभी ऐसा करने में बहुत समय लगने वाला है, तो जो आपकी एक टीम ऑलरेडी बनी हुई है, जो एक बहुत बड़ा इन्फ्लुएंसर की शक्ल ले चुकी है, और उसको जब आप प्रेजेंट करेंगे कि देखो मैं इसका हिस्सा हूं, तो वही चीज आपके लिए भी काम करेगी। सेम थिंग विल हैपन टू यू। और बहुत अच्छा एग्जाम्पल उन्होंने, तरुण ने अपनी मदर का दिया। आप देखो एमवे क्वीन कैसे बेचते हो, आप लाखों चीजें उसके बारे में बता लो कि मल्टी लेयर स्टील है, बहुत बढ़िया वाली क्वालिटी की स्टील है, ऑप्टीटेम टेक्नोलॉजी है, वीटा लॉक है, बट जैसे ही होता है कोई 27,000 का है, 30,000 का, अरे यार अब तो हमारा वाला प्रेशर कुकर ही अच्छा है ना। उन्होंने क्या किया, कुछ लोगों को बुलाया, खूब अच्छे से घुल मिल के उनसे बातचीत की, उनके लिए खाना भी बनाया, और कुछ क्वीन की कोई बात ही नहीं करी। लेकिन चूंकि वो इतनी फिट थी, इतनी एनर्जेटिक थी, एट द एज ऑफ 71, लोगों ने उनसे पूछा कि आंटी आप क्या करती हो। अब ढेर बिना बिजनेस करते हुए बिजनेस को, इसीलिए मैं कई बार कहता हूं जब हम इस बिजनेस को करने का प्रयास करते हैं तो ये बिजनेस नहीं होता। जब हम खुद जो है वो हम प्रेजेंट करते हैं नेचुरल तरीके से, स्वाभाविक तरीके से, जिसमें लोगों को अट्रैक्ट करने की क्षमता है, तो फिर बिजनेस होने लगता है। तो ये बड़ी सार गर्भित टॉक है, इसमें से ऐसा नहीं कि आपने एक बार सुना, एक दो पॉइंट्स ले लिए। अगर एक दो पॉइंट्स लेंगे तो बहुत सारा कंफ्यूजन भी होगा कि चलो इंस्टाग्राम पे अपना वो बनाते हैं, फिर ये करते हैं, फिर वो करते हैं, एंड यू विल बी, वो एक चीज होती है ना, बेविल्डरमेंट, यू विल बी बेविल्डर्ड। अरे अब ये तो यार ये भी नहीं हुआ। तो टीम के साथ मिलकर काम करें, समझें, और इंडिविजुअल लेवल पर जैसे जैसे अपने आप को सुधारना है वैसे सुधारें। तो मेरे ख्याल से आज के समय की बहुत ही जबरदस्त टॉक है, जो हमारे लिए आप समझ लो एक ऐसा चैप्टर के समान है जिसको समझना थोड़ा मुश्किल है। हम सब ने पढ़ाइयाँ की हैं, बड़े सब्जेक्ट्स पढ़े हैं, उनमें कोई ना कोई ऐसा चैप्टर होता था जिसको समझना थोड़ा कठिन होता था। ये भी समझना कठिन है, ऊपर ऊपर से नहीं समझ में आएगा। इसमें जैसे उन्होंने खुद भी कहा, स्पीकर ने खुद कहा कि आज की टॉक बड़ी कंडेंस्ड है, 3-4 बार आपको सुनना पड़ेगा, तब चीजें, वो पॉइंट्स मिलेंगे जो हम कहना चाह रहे हैं। तो यही मेरा भी मैसेज है कि इसको हम लोग थोड़ी सी स्पीड कम करके सुने, नोट्स बनाए, और फिर समझने की कोशिश करें कि हमें क्या करना है। क्योंकि कम्युनिटी से ही बिजनेस होगा, ये सारे लीडर्स अब धीरे धीरे रियलाइज करने लगे हैं। जब एमवे ने शुरू में कहा था तो बड़ा रेजिस्टेंस था, लेकिन ग्रेजुअली नाउ पीपल आर रियलाइजिंग, और स्पेशली कुछ ऐसे लीडर्स हुए हैं जिन्होंने इसी तरह से करके बहुत बड़ी बिजनेस बनाया, बड़ा तेज उन्होंने पिन लेवल चेंज किए। तो कैसे चेंज किए हैं, उसी सबका ये असर है कि हम सबको भी इस ढंग से काम करना पड़ेगा। और जैसे मैंने पहले कहा कि सबसे अच्छी बात है कि हमारी दो कम्युनिटी चल रही है। अगर आपको हेल्थ की बात करनी है तो आप लिव हेल्दी लिव हैप्पी की बात करिए, जहां पर कोई हम एमवे बिजनेस की बात ही नहीं करते, कोई प्रोडक्ट्स की बात ही नहीं करते। ऑलरेडी वो एक व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप है जिसमें 700-750 लोग हैं। किसी को भी आप लाते हैं तो सबसे पहले तो देखता है इनके साथ 750 लोग जुड़े हुए। वो किसी एक का नहीं, वैसा नहीं कि सिर्फ वो आलोक जी के साथ 750 लोग हैं। आपने जैसे ही किसी को लाया वो आपके भी 750 लोग हो गए। तो हेल्थ की बात वहां पर करें, जो बिजनेस में इंटरेस्टेड है, फाइनेंस की जिसको जरूरत है, उसको हम मॉर्निंग मिरेकल में ले आए। और हमारे पास हमारे अपलाइन के प्रयासों से, उनके मेहनत से, ये दो चीजें ऑलरेडी उपलब्ध है, किसी को भी कुछ सोचने की जरूरत नहीं। पहले तो इन दोनों को इस्तेमाल करें, उसके बाद फिर आप सोचिए कि कैसे मैं अपने आप को ज्यादा से ज्यादा अट्रैक्टिव बना सकता हूं, जिससे कि लोग खुद मुझसे खुद पूछना चाहे कि भाई आप क्या करते हो। और किसी भी बड़े काम में देखिए यही होता है, लोग पूछते हैं कि आप क्या करते हो, फिर आप जब बताते हो तब उनके ऊपर असर होता है। और बाकी सारी चीजें वही हैं, फंडामेंटल वही रहेंगे, प्रिंसिपल्स वही रहेंगे, लेकिन कुछ जो चीजें हैं जो बदलनी है। जैसे एक बड़ी अच्छी बात उन्होंने कही, उन्होंने कहा कि अब एडवर्टीजमेंट का भी उतना इफेक्ट नहीं, क्योंकि लोग सेलिब्रिटी का एड देख के प्रोडक्ट नहीं खरीदते। ये तो मेरे घर में अक्सर होता है, मैंने जाके देखा सोशल मीडिया पर कोई चीज है तो उसका ऑर्डर कर दिया, तो हमारा बेटा आके पूछता है कि आपने इसका कुछ रिव्यू भी देखा था, कैसे ऑर्डर कर दिया। तो ये जो यंगर जनरेशन है, इससे भी बहुत कुछ सीखने की बात है। वो जाके रिव्यू पहले देखते हैं, दे डोंट गो फॉर एडवर्टीजमेंट। और हम लोग उस जमाने के कि भाई अमिताभ बच्चन कह रहे हैं तो खरीद लो, अच्छा ही होगा। बट आज की जनरेशन जानती है कि अमिताभ बच्चन उसको यूज नहीं करते, खाली कह रहे हैं। तो ये जो छोटे छोटे बड़े सटल चेंजेस हैं दुनिया में जो हो रहे हैं, इनको हमें समझने की जरूरत है और उनके ऊपर बेस करके अपना बिजनेस बनाने की जरूरत है। तो फाइनली यही कहना है कि इसको सुनना है कई बार और इसमें से समझना है और हर किसी को अपने लिए इसमें से पॉइंट सेलेक्ट करना है, और उसके बाद फिर हम तो इस रास्ते पर निकल ही पड़े हैं। जो हमारी टीम है, टीम एबी वॉरियर्स, चाहे वो इलाहाबाद की हो, हल्द्वानी की हो, दिल्ली की भी हो, कहीं की भी हो, हम सब इस रास्ते पर हैं कि आप देखिएगा कि एक दिन जिस तरह से लोगों के पिन लेवल साल भर में चेंज हो रहे हैं, वैसे ही हमारे भी चेंज होने वाले मैसिवली। शर्त यह है कि आपको यूनाइटेड रहना है। ये नहीं सोचना है कि भाई इस टीम में तो मोहन भट्ट जी का ही फायदा होगा, उनका ही फायदा होगा। इस टीम के अंदर सबका फायदा होगा। किसी का आज हो रहा है, किसी का 1 साल बाद होगा, किसी का 2 साल बाद होगा, बट ये इस टीम का इस्तेमाल करना सबसे अधिक आवश्यक है। तो थैंक यू नरेंद्र सर, बैक टू।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू वेरी वेरी मच। और बिल्कुल सही कहा आपने कि सर हम सब लोग इस टीम को यूज करेंगे, इसका फायदा उठाएंगे, और निश्चित रूप से ये किसी एक की टीम नहीं, ये हम सब की टीम है। तो हम चलते हैं, इसके साथ ही सबको अनम्यूट होने का ऑप्शन देते हैं और सब लोग अनम्यूट हो जाइए, जबरदस्त तरीके से तैयार हो जाइए पॉजिटिव एफर्मेशन के लिए।